What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I told you in my last video that I would come back and expound upon some of the topics that I talked about. I also told you there was other things. I read a list. We are going to continue that list, but because I've not gotten that SD card that I spoke about yet, I thought I would compartmentalize, and then I would do a couple of subjects in this video, and then we'll move to some of the other things that I wanted to communicate with you over the next however amount of time that it will take to bring all of those forth. So for this one, I want to deal with I want to finish my statement on the Malik Yoba thing, because I remember I just sort of used him as an accessory, really, an accessory in my last piece, because the point was bigger that I was trying to make, without going into detail about how I felt about the interview and the other issues surrounding him. So I want to go with that, and but the main thing I'm going to discuss in this piece is going to be all this love and forgiveness that was in the courtroom for this murderer. I want you to know that my heart is very heavy, you guys. My heart is very heavy because there's so many things. I always talk about the big picture, and there's so many things that are just, there's so much always happening, and you really got to pay attention to all of it. You can't just go, well, there's just so much happening, and it's just a statement. You got to know that, and you got to know what it is. You see, it's very overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. Because when you look at the big picture, then you see the true formation of evil. You see it. You see it. You see it. Wow. And this wasn't even supposed to be part of it, but I was going to say, as I say, my heart is heavy, and I wanted to have this video out to you by Saturday the 5th, but you're probably watching it now on the 7th or sometime after that. Because I always and only ever speak from the heart, everybody, but another component that goes with that is the universe doesn't just give me my words. It also gives me a window in which to speak. There's windows that have passed on previous work, like just over the years that I've been at this, and I'll have something, I go, I'm going to do, the universe is giving me something on such and such, we're going to talk about that, and then I won't come back with it. Because it will come back to my mind, oh, you said you were going to do this on that, but then the energy is not there. You see, must have the spiritual energy, must have it, must have it. I'm very aware of my spiritual existence, everybody. I'm obsessed with it. And when you are in that space, you are a different human being, and you live your life a different way. The music is just different to you in your head. It must be. My physical is just, that's something else. That's something. But the spiritual is how I express and live and depend and decide and do everything. So there's a window. It's like when they used to launch the space shuttle. They used to have the launch window. If they don't launch it in this window, then they have to wait. So such is the case. And amongst the many things that are going on is, I just wanted to clarify for my people, just a quick clarification, really. That's really all I'm trying to do right here on this that I'm going to say right now. Is, they said that they've launched this impeachment inquiry, as it were. Inquiry, you see. An inquiry is not the same as a prosecution or an execution. It's just, we're finding out. I like to inquire about the apartment I saw for rent. I didn't say I'm buying it. I didn't say I'm renting it. I don't got no job. I just want to inquire about it. So that's what you're dealing with. It's just an inquiry. But I think the bigger point is that since there is now this impeachment inquiry, all these so-called good white people that are supposed to exist someplace, who simply couldn't be counted on to step forward and admit that they screwed up and that they were absolutely wrong and erred in voting for Trump, and have seen the disaster area that he is wherever he exists and breathes. We should now, certainly with an impeachment inquiry, we should see a stampede, certainly on the right, of these good white people that I'm sure exist someplace, coming out saying, now, if I didn't think I could run against him and beat him, now I can, because that would be, if nothing else, I can run on that and say, look, this guy was under an impeachment inquiry. I'm running for president. Vote for me, Bob somebody from the South, you see. But the deafening silence that the Jedi experiences when he ponders this topic, I listen into the universe and I hear nothing but the blowing of weeds and the marching of ants. But I do not hear, nor do I see, a Republican stepping up to run against Trump. I'm just not seeing any evidence of that. Very concerning for the Jedi. Very concerning. It's also interesting to note that I pondered, you guys, for a long time, this whole issue of, I'll do that sometimes so I can see the clock counter, everybody. I pondered for a very long time, and I don't think I've ever shared this with you. They have such vitriol for Nancy Pelosi. This is not just, just to begin with, Trump just is another person on the bandwagon. You always hear they just always against her, especially on the right. And I just thought, what's going on? I never could place it. And I don't say that I've placed it even now. But I never could place it because, even when Obama became president, she was the first female speaker of the House. It's the first time that a president walked into the chamber and the crier hit the gavel and said, Madam Speaker, the President of the United States. And then he and his cabinet come in and they do it all. And no matter what you think of her, good or bad, I just think if I was a woman, that would have some significance to me. And she's a white woman, so what's the problem? And then I learned that her name is Nancy Patricia di Alessandro Pelosi, that she's an Italian. And there is some tribalism whispered. There's some tribalism that goes on amongst white folks. And I just wonder if that's some issue with it. And then add to that, the middle part of the sandwich would be that she's a woman, and there's maybe some other component that the Jedi has not pondered. All right? But I just thought it'd be interesting to mention that. But I want to first begin with this Malik Yoba thing, because I want to finish up on what I finish up talking about that. And then I want to move into this love fest, this love, obsession that was going on in the courtroom. First thing I want to say, as a general note, I pondered, and because this is going to be an ongoing discussion, because it's something that continues to evolve and be promoted to us in the society, is this LBGT, this transgender, this cis, and I don't know. I'm not going to give myself an aneurysm with all the damn titles. You understand? You like vagina or you like penis? Period. The damn end. That's all we got on the menu. More shit else. So, but I pondered that there was a time, it seems to me, that it used to be when you knew somebody was gay, their whole thing was, well, they just want to be treated like everybody else. That you shouldn't focus on the fact that they were gay. Hear me? Hear me and testify. I say again, their whole thing, as I recall, was, I'm just like everybody else. You don't need to focus on the fact that they're a gay person. Huh? That was the tagline, we'll just call it. Now the tagline is, that's exactly what they want to be known as. I can't keep up. I saw some clips of this Kelly Clarkson show. That's what provoked the thought. I saw some clips of this Kelly Clarkson show, and it's something from her past, or somebody from Idol, I think it was. They were showing people she'd been on American Idol with, and they got to the one dude. Everybody else was, "Hi Kelly, it's so and so." You know, they had a name, and and well wishes to her and what they were doing. Gets to this dude, and I was even saying out loud, "Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it," because I saw wedding dresses hanging behind him. So I said, "Jerry, wait for." Because I speak out loud to the TV and stuff, right? And so I go, "Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it," and he goes, "Hi Kel, it's your best gay." I still don't know what his name was. And then they showed a picture of him and I'm married to a wonderful man now. I'm laughing at the irony, everybody, because I told you I really don't have no problem with gay people. I don't give a damn. Because I'm still back when it was what they wanted. I don't see you no different. You don't tell me who you're sleeping with, I'm not gonna know it, and so I don't really care. And I just take you for who you are, and if I don't like you, I don't like you. If I like you, I like you. You see? So, why it's also funny also is because maybe a couple weeks before that, some people that were in my neighborhood a few months back, they got thrown out of the neighborhood or something. I don't know what happened to these people. Anyway, I saw them. I would know them in a lineup, but I didn't know them. So I was out at my trash dumpster, and this guy comes up to me, and he was asking me, had I seen, he was part of the crew, and he asked me, had you seen them lately? And I was like, no, I haven't seen them, I don't think I've seen them, around. And he said, well, if you do see them, can you just tell them the gay guy was asking for them? So me being an authentic human being and consistent, because of what I just shared with you, what I'm sharing with you now happened before that. I got a little annoyed. He didn't know it, but I was annoyed. Why were you annoyed, Jedi? Because I said to him, well, my answer will tell you why I was annoyed. He says, well, you just tell him the gay guy came by to, the gay guy was looking for them. I go, well, what's your name? And I said it like this, like with a little bit of an attitude, like, well, what's your name? And then he said his name. I said, well, if I see them, I'll just tell them that. And I walked off, like, because to me, it's like you were trying to tell me, And so this is what we're dealing with. So it's like, I can't with it. Like, I don't give a damn about who the hell you sleep with. That's going to be between you and the creator of the heavens and the earth. And I already talked about the law that is unbreakable. You understand? And so I don't care, But I also am a human being, and I have feelings, and what I understand annoys me is this. That this is some new identity, that it's not, it's like somebody walking up to you and telling you, you start your first day on a job, and the first person you meet goes, hi, I eat pasta, or I love hamburgers, or something, and you go, why the fuck are you telling me that? This is right up there with that for me. I need you to be clear. This is exactly the same thing for me. That should help you understand how I feel about it. Like, that's how I feel. Do you understand me? Now, so I wanted to say that. Now, they also are salty about the fact that Malik Yoba, you remember that the twit that was interviewing him on the route was reflecting the the they're a little in a piss about the fact that Malik Yoba, to their perception, he's elevating himself. Why are you basically? I'm paraphrasing the idea of what their perception is. They're saying that he is presenting himself now as the voice for the transgender community, etc., etc. Okay, because he's famous. Hello, and where's our representative at that we would know? So it seems that you should be lucky and grateful. What they're really pissy about is the fact that he's not gay. That's my own theory. You don't have to buy into that. You see, that he's not available. And probably because he's not white, and there's a few other things I could just imagine, you understand, out of the universe. Anyways, so they're in a piss about that. All right. I say they're lucky to have him. You understand? They're lucky to have him. For reasons that should be obvious to them, quite frankly. I also wanted to talk about the girl, because the whole reason why he got into a fight with this guy, and he should have punched him. I thought he was going to punch him, especially when he revealed that they had a pre-interview that lasted 4 hours, and that they were clear about the parameters and everything. I'm surprised Malik didn't punch him, because that made it even more erroneous, even more specious what he did. It's not like, oh, we only had 5 minutes and we didn't really get this in, and just right before we taped, No, y'all had 4 hours together, and so you were clear about this. So this was a deliberate act on your part. So you make us have a bad view of you, and then we add your sexuality to that you so desperately want to wear as a ribbon, and then we don't like you. That's what you're setting yourself up for. Your 1 and 1 equals goddamn it 2. You see? So, anyways, what he was bringing up that Malik didn't want to deal with anymore is because they're trying to say that he was a predator. I'm just going to paraphrase it. They're trying to set him up for R. Kelly status, basically. Like as if he was, but his crime is supposed to be perusing and soliciting underage transgenders for sex. First of all, I saw The Thing when this whole story broke, some bitch in New York, and it was saying, he knew I was underage. He knew I was underage, as if she's got a team of lawyers and righteousness on her side. Bitch, you were a whore, a slut, a prostitute. You understand? And so, whatever age you were, you knew you knew the difference between right and wrong. And even Malik didn't know you were underage. You knew you were underage, and you were out there presenting yourself. So let's not pop up now and act like Malik is all the wrong. You have no value. You have no credibility. It's of no consequence. Get out my face. I feel for the brother, because I don't have that type of restraint. I have restraint to a point. You understand? And I think it's healthy and natural, because I think your own, if you're not someone that's just given to pop off and all this kind of thing, then, and I'm not, so if I'm to a level of now it's time to, we got to go beyond words, then that's appropriate. You understand? Because I'm not given to that. And when I am, that means it really must be something. Now, it's time to go now. It's time to go. It's time to go. Let's do it, you see. So he is showing great restraint, and I don't know how he's doing it. Maybe he's got some punching bags at home. All right. So I wanted to make sure that I put that up there too. And yeah, like she's not some innocent victim, but you don't get to be a victim now. All of a sudden, you're not a victim. Get out my face. He knew I was underage, and he still solicited me. If I was Malik, I need to get to Malik. It's a lot of people when I hear them talking or see them in the media or something like that, I'm like, I should have been their damn advisor, because I would just say to him, look, you just need to go out there and say, look, bitch, this is my answer to you on Twitter or whatever they're on. You knew that you were underage at the time? Didn't you know the difference between right and wrong? Didn't you know you weren't supposed to be out there prostituting? Wasn't that illegal, etc., etc., etc.? So what's your purity bag and all of this? And just shut her ass down. You see, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's so the guy. I used to know his name. Now I can't remember it. I've blocked it. I feel like it's Tremel or Terrell or something with the damn derby hat that was sitting up there interviewing Malik. First of all, he was trying to have a moment, and so that he could. This wasn't for any journalism reason, everybody. This so he could, all the queens could tell him how fierce he was when he got back to his lair of his people. You know, like he tore down this straight dude. That was his conquering, if you will. It's a sick thing, but I think this was his motivation really for that, because he's not ever going to be he was interviewing for the Root. I'm not going to sit here and make a critique on the Root. I'll just make a critique on him and say I know why he works for the Root. You understand? Because this whole thing was a 4-year-old giving a interview in a kindergarten classroom, quite frankly. You know, it's kind of like when you get a little, you know, like you have the little kids, they're going to interview, you know, maybe President Obama is coming to their class or something, and little Taiwan gets to interview him, and he's got on that tie that's too big for him and the shirt, the nappy hair, but he's the cutest thing ever. And he goes, okay, baby, ask the president your question, baby. Okay. And he have a card, and he has his cards. Do you, what's your name? And he says, President Obama, okay, all right, baby, ask your next question. Do you like cereal? Like me? This was exactly what this interview was, everybody. Don't be fooled by the optics. Don't do it. I'm telling you. That's exactly what you saw and heard. I'm telling you. That's exactly what you saw and heard. You saw it and you heard it. That's what happened. That's how the Malik Yoba interview went. Alright? That's how it went. That's what you saw and heard. Damn it. It was that. Because he wasn't having a conversation, and it was so, like, I can't. Like, do you understand? My eyes are still burning from watching this interview. Do you understand what I'm telling you? My eyes are still burning. Alright? I could lose an eye. It could happen. Alright? So, I'm probably going to speak a little more on that. I wanted to make sure I got out my main points, and I want to move into this Lovefest, everybody, because this is disturbing, but not surprising, at least for the Jedi. You know, for those of you who may be new to me, you don't know the eloquence that the Jedi has articulated with 3-hour-long videos, even outlining just the character of African people in this nation, just the character, and why that relates to Christianity. I have laid that out. You guys that have been with me and actually watched those videos, you know. So that's why I say it's upsetting, but not surprising. It's not surprising. Christianity is a poison and a virus upon our people. It's fine for white folks because they don't ever want to, they think they are God, and they don't ever want to feel like they have to be under any control of anyone for any reason at all. So certainly God has no place, you see. So this is why they've sold you this, that you don't have to do anything on earth. Just believe in Christ, which he never said that. Just believe in Christ and you're going to heaven. Meanwhile, you can just sin and do everything else. Go have fun on this earth, and then you're going to heaven. You're the fuck you are? You're a nut. I'm so sorry. And it's going to be true whether you like it or not, and whether I say it or not. It's still going to be the truth. That's what I love about the truth. It's still going to be. 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 You see? So this is the problem. So you don't have character, and you're buying into that, and you're thinking you're part of their society. You think this. You think this. So you're not even seeking the scaffolding or the ladder or the cherry picker that would allow you to climb upon it and look down upon this trash and proclaim it exactly what it is, just that. You see? You're trying to be a part of it. And that is the key to it, is the Christian vomit, as I so affectionately call it. Christian vomit. That's what I call it. That's what I call it. Because you'll recall that at the very beginning of this murder, um, Botham's mother stepped to the mic and gave me my entire life. Indeed, it was the pièce de résistance, because she stepped to the mic and she said, Amber Guyger is the devil. I saw heaven when she said that. At least I saw the toe of an angel. It was everything, because it was the truth, and it was also bold and be damned, which I love. I mean, that's, to me, that's better than anything you're ever going to present to me on the earth. I don't care what it is. Especially when the truth is able to be presented and to sting those who are the enemy of it and try to stand against it. There's nothing I enjoy more. I can't think of anything. You understand? So, in this context of her proclaiming her to be the devil from the very outset, how do we then get to this Lovefest that went on? Well, I can guarantee you that there was some Christian vomit spouting pastor that got to Botham's brother at some point before his testimony and filled him with the love of Christ, you see. And this is why he gets up there and makes this outrageous proclamation. And then he looks over the judge. And I was already, you guys, the moment he said that I love her and I forgive her, I was already Caesar. I was already in cardiac attack on the floor. And then when he said, can I give her a hug, I had to be airlifted out to a unknown location medical facility. It was so severe, I wasn't expected to make it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Then it was, some random person had to come over and stroke her hair and fix her hair, and there was a stylist, and then somebody spritzed her with perfume, and then the judge came down and hugged her, and it was, and she had to be coddled, and she had to be held, and there was a fan on her. What the hell? This is what I've preached. That is a sickness upon the brain of African people. It is anti-human, do you understand? It is anti-human to love anyone who A, don't love you, and B, who oppresses you. Any human being in this fucking country wearing a uniform of any kind that looks like that, I don't care what their municipality is an enemy of African people. The history is just too bad. We know what their pathology is, where they come from, who they were. They were the slave catchers. That's all they are today. So, I'm over it. Who amongst us, because I always tell you, it's us and them, says them. I'll say it again. It's us and them, says them, because that's what they show us every time. Who amongst us thinks that had that been a black defendant, a black judge could have come down and hugged that black defendant and their heads not rolled off? Their white people would have been in full out civil war right now. I couldn't do the video right now. Wouldn't be able to do it. Wouldn't be possible. Because I remind you, do we have any evidence of this, Jedi? Absolutely. Let us look back to when the young prince, Trayvon Martin, was savagely murdered. And the then President Obama, giving a speech trying to calm the country, said something I think wasn't even part of his prepared speech. Because the way he looked up and that sort of matter of fact. You could tell the universe just gave him this at that moment when he just kind of said, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. It was a very loving thing to say, but it was also the damn truth. But their heads rolled off. Because how dare he specifically identify and in an emotional way with an African person while he sits in their White House. that we built. Huh? Come on now. Come on now. You got to know. You got to know who you're dealing with, everybody. You see, in war, you study your enemy. It's one of the first rules of engagement. Study your fucking enemy. Know what they got. What do they do? You see what I'm saying? You're a heavyweight boxer. You sit down and you watch the other dude's videos and eat popcorn. You see, how does he hit? You know, what legs is he? What is it, north and south paw or some push? I don't know. All right, I'm not a fighter. I told you, Paul, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Anyways, you study your enemy, you know, and I do. You see, sadly, too many of you are not. You're too busy trying to be your damn enemy and thinking you're one of them and you're accepted and you're an American and all this other nonsense. And you make me sick too. You just do. Damn it. You see. So this would never happen we would never see this display from Muslims. This is only the acts of black Christians because of this sickness upon you. Because you really don't want to serve God either. You really don't. You don't. You think I'm lying? Ask any sister. I hate to use my sisters on this, but I'm just going to use y'all now. Sister, I want me a king and I want this and this and that. Okay, and you meet a man and say, I can't touch you, I can't shake your hand, I can't do nothing for you. I'm only interested in you for the sake of marriage. Girl, he just, you have some fucking protest, you see? And then a man who wants to take care of you. I want my own. Well, have your own, but your own is your own. It just, like, I'm over it. I could give you 1,000 examples, and I don't have to just use my women. I'm just saying, my people don't want to submit to God. That's what the price is for paradise after this life. Everybody is submission. Submission. You understand? Submission. Submission. The very word Muslim. You know, many of you take on if Massa says it, then you say it. I'm a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. There's no such thing. And it's important because other languages on the earth outside of this gutter language that they call English have meaning and purpose. Letters, sounds, all have meaning. So when you see the word Muslim, it's mu, Islam. Mu is to do. Islam is submission. So you say, well, what's your way of life? Which you would never say that. You say, what's your religion? Because that's what Massa taught you. Because there is no way of life for you with Massa. Remember, it's do what you want, and you're going to heaven. So you don't know anything about this way of life stuff. You mean God has laid out everything for my life? Yes. All I want to do with that. That's religion, says your dumb ass. You see? So, but my way of life is to do submission to God. The word is Muslim. Muslim. So Muslim isn't even in the language. That's something else. You see? That's just one example. That's just one. Speaking of language, I notice that this time around, when they mention Botham, they are just saying Botham Jean. I even heard one of the white jurors call him Bo, which made me sick and had to be re-rushed back to the hospital and put on a ventilator. You see? Bo. Nah, ain't no Bo. Not for your ass. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no Bo. You see? But I noticed that it's Botham Jean this time around. We're not hearing Botham Shem John. And I notice my people are just suddenly saying just Botham John. Because you just like Massa. Just like him. Can be counted on to sell us the fuck out at every chance you get. Period to that man. Right along with Massa. That's you. That's you. So, anyways, damn it, it's Botham Shem John. But it wasn't lost on me that suddenly it's suddenly just Botham John. And I saw two of the jurors, I just mentioned the white one. The black one was a black heifer who, what made it sad is that I am able to recognize she doesn't even realize how ignorant she is. That's what's sad to me. Because that is so pervasive across many of our people. Even if I don't want to say, I'll say the majority in this nation. You don't even know how ignorant you are. It's like everybody, it's like one of the things where, like, you have something stuck to your back, like somebody puts a kick me sign on your back, and everybody can see it and you can't see it. This is like that as a metaphor for you. Like, I see how ignorant she is. And I see that she has no idea how ignorant she is. She has no idea. I couldn't give her no 28 years. That's massa. That's what my black ears heard. Forget your brother who's laying in the grave. I couldn't give. They pulled this hocus pocus just like they tried to do. They did it verbally with the Trayvon Martin trial, trying to make George the victim, even though he stalked and killed Trayvon. So that was murder with special circumstances, lying in wait, and a bunch of other charges I could come up with. You understand? But this time they wanted to do it subliminally and subconsciously, and they achieved their goal. They turned this murdering white bitch devil into a victim. In no way I could have stood in that courtroom and that judge come down from that bench and I not say, "Bitch, are you serious?" Or have some kind of reaction that would have gone around the world and would have been known by all of humanity. Because I don't stand aside and look. It would not have been cool. And then I understand, I don't have any proof of this, but I understand she gave the bitch a Bible. For what? For what? For what? Again, just like there's certain things that we see and we go, we know that was somebody white. No, it wasn't us. We know it wasn't us. School shooting. We already know that's somebody white. We already know it. Somebody shoots up a mall. We know it's somebody white. We know. So, just like there's that, as a Muslim, there's 99% of the shit, I go, oh, that was a black Christian. That was a black Christian. You just tell me it was black folk, I go, there's Christians. There's Christians. Those Christians. That was Christians. Because 86% of our people in this nation are still dominated by that vomit. You outnumber the enlightened amongst us. You understand? This is the only place on earth where that dominates our people. You think it's a coincidence? Because that's a direct hand-me-down from slavery. Meanwhile, most African melanated people on the planet Earth, no matter where we exist and breed, are Muslims. Like a very good percentage of the slaves that were brought to these shores were Muslims. We have a way of life, people, but you don't have it. Because you're wandering and wallowing in that cesspool of sin and anything goes right along with massa. It was sickening. To contrast him coming down and hugging this white bitch, this murdering whore, and then to juxtapose that to the white bitch that got out and shot our brother who had been in a car accident, and she wasn't even part of the accident, and she shoots him. Or the bitch that's calling the police on our brothers at Starbucks, and you just start going down the list from there, and you'll be there for 5 hours just naming just white bitches doing shit just in the last week or year. You don't have to go all the way back. You see what I'm saying? So just for that very reason alone, there's no need for you to get your black ass off the stand and go hug this bitch. This is a problem, everybody, but it's something that only would come from Christians. You're the only sick people that do that. No, nobody else does that. You know, they have this saying, it makes me sick and I hate it when people say, who does that? I hate that so much. I have to get hospitalized just for even mentioning that. Damn it. Hurry up, Jack. Well, y'all ass do that. Black Christians. You see, I got the answer for that. You see, at least on this. Was 10 years enough? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Had there been Muslims on that jury, the bitch would have got 99 years. Because there is no forgiveness. Because again, way of life. God has already taken care of the rules of this. So under Islam, under the rules of God, Allah says that to take one life, one innocent life, it's as if you've taken the life of all humanity. You would not be forgiven. You see, she murdered this man. So I don't need to forgive her ass. That's not my burden. You see, I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to. So saith the creator of the heavens and the earth. There'll be no forgiveness. You see, the bitch knew. Even her lawyers said they've never seen this. And this lawyer that was speaking was an older guy, and he was saying between them they have like so many hundreds of decades or whatever the hell it is. And none of them have ever seen a display like this in a courtroom. You'll recall that it was the all-black Christian asses that could not wait to run to the courtroom after the 9 people had been killed in South Carolina in the church by Dylan Roof to proclaim your love and forgiveness. I know who my enemy is. There'll be no love and forgiveness. Do you understand me? At all. Anytime, ever. You have to forgive. Huh. I don't need to. You understand? I don't need to. It's sick-minded. It's sick-minded. And even his mother said, and you know, because she was kind of distancing herself from her son without throwing him under the bus. She's a wise lady. But she was saying, you know, don't get it twisted. Let's not mistake, what does she say? Having forgiveness for responsibility. Basically saying, I'm not really on board with that love and forgiveness bullshit that he's displaying. I'm not really there for that. That's what she was really kind of saying. You know, in other words, the bitch still needs to go to jail. You see. Oh my God, my people. You slay me. If this cuts off, we're just going to be done, y'all. And then she went on to say that that doesn't mean there's suddenly a clean slate. So she was very specific in her language. His mother is my girl. That is my girl. That is my girl. That's my girl. I also know that there was protests that broke out. I didn't know about that. And the only thing I'm disgusted about by that is that, first of all, I told you we're over marching and protesting and blocking streets. You see what I'm saying? If you're not ready to take somebody's money or their life, you're not affecting this enemy in any way. I'm just letting you know. It's just like I'll tell you, if you don't turn the stove on, you ain't never gonna get no eggs cooked. I'm just letting you know. It's whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you that's the formula. You want eggs, you gotta turn the stove on. You see? So I'm over that anyway. But I'm also over when I do see that nonsense, that there's still women and children out there. You see? Meanwhile, black men, especially when it comes to the LGBT subject, I was talking about, you know, they trying to feminize the black man and they trying to destroy the black man. But every time your bitch ass gets a chance to stand up and show that you are a man, you're missing in action, bruh. Or you gotta have your girl with you and the kids. You can't stand against Max on your own. So don't bring that to the throne. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You see what I'm saying? Don't do it. I'm over it. I told you those images need to go around the world, need to be images of black men. Period. The end. No, none of our women, none of our children, and damn sure no damn white people with their little backpacks and allies and shit. We're over that. We're over that. So I was able to squeeze in at least everything I want to say. I'm gonna rush now because I don't know when it's gonna cut off. I just want to say this as I close, everybody, and be grateful I got this much time. This is anytime I've ever talked about Christianity, it's never a religious contest, everybody. Every conversation you've ever had about that subject has been some contest or somebody trying to convince you or something like that. This is not my aim. I only speak about this bullshit because I understand its result. Its result is your bullshit ass character acting out the way that you do 24 hours a day around the clock in this bitch. And this is just one highlighted example of your psychotic behavior is what went on in this courtroom with black people to this murderer. This is just another example of it. I understand what the result of it is. It's not even up for debate or discussion if I'm in the midst. You understand? I've talked at length about why it's a lie and it's provable. Though I have videos even here on this channel that you can go and watch and prove that I can disprove Christianity in 5 minutes. It doesn't even take that long. This is a bigger issue. My people need to be out of it because A, it's a lie, and you're not going to paradise with that. But most of all, because of how it fucked up your character. You are cowards even because of it. I sit here a threat to all humanity because I'm not afraid of anything but the one who created me. That's it. That makes me very dangerous. But they can count on your fear. Count on it. Count on it. And expect your forgiveness. Never going to get it out of me. So you need to come out of that. You need to come out of that. You know in your heart it's some bullshit, it's a lie. Somewhere you've been whispered to. Because everybody's got to have a chance to get to paradise. You know. You know. I don't care how filled, sanctified, and anointed you claim you are. You know Christianity is some bullshit. You know it. You know it. You know it. You get out of that. It is anti-African. Just as I said that this LBGT stuff is anti-African, so is this. I've alluded that the LBGT stuff, the gay shit, can be basically installed in you as an embryo probably before you even come to Earth. This Christian stuff was definitely given to us in slavery. You understand? So we are able to show that these things are outside of our authenticity. This is not African, and indeed it is anti-human. It's definitely anti-paradise, because it does not lead you to paradise. It don't. It don't. It don't. It don't. You will be in the hellfire right along with Massa at the on the great day. I want paradise for my people. Finally. But I want it on this earth, and I want it in the hereafter as well. That's what I want. So I'm not going to talk about the Malik Yoba thing anymore unless I feel I need to, everybody. In my next video, I'm going to start moving on to some other subjects that I talked about in my last video. If you didn't see the last video, go and watch it. Yeah, go and watch that. Go and watch that, and you'll hear what I was talking about. I'm trying to hurry up, y'all, because it's being nice. But that's my main thought on that, everybody. This is an outrage, and she's not going to do 10 years. And we never are willing to test the waters, you see. The very next time that